Hey there, Nashwauk Steve here. Today I'm going to be doing an oil change on our 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan. It's a very easy job that anyone can do. You just need 5 quarts of oil, an oil filter, a ratchet or a socket to take out the drain plug, and a filter wrench to take off the old filter and put on the new one. That's about it. We'll get the van in here, up on ramps, and we'll start doing the work. I'm just about to put this van up on ramps, and one of the problems that I've been experiencing with cars for a decade now is that all the molding down below is too low for the ramp to actually get under there and make contact with the tire. So if you actually drive this up, you would end up making contact here and pushing the ramp back with the plastic parts of the van. So what I've done is I have a couple lengths of like 2x8 here that I use. I drop it in here to extend this ramp. I push it to the base of the tire, and then I just pull the ramp back until I can see one set of holes usually. There's some sort of marker so I know kind of where I'm at. So right there I can see a set of holes coming out, and I have the ramp in there with a piece of wood on top. And then I match it on the other side so I know that my ramps are symmetrical still. So set it in there, have one set of holes sticking out, and I know that when I drive up, this is the same distance, and I'm going to hit these wheel cups at the exact same time with this van. So I'm going to go ahead and get it up on the ramps now. The van is now up on the ramps like that, and then I have the parking brake on, and I'll go ahead and chock the back tire there so this van is not going anywhere while I'm underneath it. Here is everything you'll need for this job. We have some high mileage 10W30 here, which is the oil spec for this 4.0 liter engine. We have a funnel, a pan for the oil. We have a filter wrench here, and we have a filter for this motor, which is a PH 10060. Be careful which filter you get. This model with the 4.0 actually has 2 filters, which are, the only difference is the thread style inside. One is like a standard, one is a metric. They won't interthread. So make sure you have the right one. And then you're also going to need a 13 millimeter socket to taking out the drain plug. So that's it for now. First thing I like to do is get the old filter off, the new filter on, and then we'll go ahead and drain the oil out of the pan. So with this design, Chrysler did a huge favor for the people working on oil changes. They made the filter really easy to get to. So here's like the fog lamp for reference. I'm going under the passenger side, and lo and behold, right there, right behind the tire, is the oil filter. So we're gonna go ahead and get the wrench on this and remove it. Just back it out with the very back of the filter here, because we're going to start losing oil and making a mess real soon. There it is. Spin it until you can tell you've reached the end of the threads and you're just spinning on nothing there. It's kind of wobbling. Go ahead and put that down into the pan there. Let's let that drain off for a minute, and then we'll put the new one on. Okay, here is my new filter. What I like to do with this last little bit of oil is draining out, once the gunk's kind of out of it, I take some of it and drip it on that seal of the filter. Then I can rub that in and kind of use that just to lubricate the rubber when I put the filter on. So we'll kind of wipe that around. Like that. And go ahead and thread this thing back on. And per the directions on the filter, it says spin till you make contact, and then go another 3/4 to 1. So there I made contact, so now I'm going to use my wrench, and I'm going to go another probably full turn on this one depending on how tight it gets. So I need 2 hands to do that, so I'm going to stop the video right now. That filter is tightened up now, so from there we move the pan over a little bit, and we're going to pull the drain plug, which you can see is right there. I've got the socket on it for now. I usually have to struggle quite a bit to get these off, so I did that before I started the video here. So we're at the point now where we're going to take this plug out. Once you get it started, it goes pretty easy by hand. Again, it's kind of like the filter. Keep pressure on it while you're threading it out until you can feel that all the threads are through and you're just spinning on nothing. Okay, I'm at that point now, and before it spills out, I quickly remove my hand. And there we go. We'll let that drain for a few minutes. All right, it's dwindled down to that much flow where it's actually starting to drip a little more than flow out, so I'm going to go ahead and put this plug back in. Some guys will let this drain for much more time, some less. I'm kind of in the middle there. I figure we've got 99% of that oil changed out. We don't need to wait another half hour to get that last 1% or so. So I'm good putting that back on and tightening it up. Tighten this with quite a bit of force so it's not going to leak on you, and it'll be tight till the next oil change. That's it for underneath the vehicle. Our drain pan is empty now, so we move up top here. We're going to fill up the oil. There's the oil fill, nicely labeled, and reminds you of what type of oil to use. I like when they do that, so you don't have to look it up each time. Pull that out, put our filter in there, and I go ahead and usually pour in about 3/4 of this, and then check the level and kind of see how we're looking. So we'll get a start on it here. That way you can make sure you don't overfill or underfill by getting just the right amount on the dipstick. You could also look in your owner's manual and see the exact amount that you're supposed to change out under the capacities part of your owner's manual. It's another way of doing it too. All right, so now I put about 3/4 of that in there. We're gonna pull the dipstick, wipe it off so it's nice and clean, send it back down to the pan, mix it up and see where we're at. Looks to me we are right in the safe zone on there. There's a little bit of hatching on the dipstick that shows you where you're at. I don't know if that's visible or not, but we're right where we need to be. So that's the right amount to add. We'll save the rest for if we have to top it off anytime later. And that's it for checking that. The next thing we do here is just a quick leak test to make sure that everything was tightened up properly. We want to look around the filter there. Nothing is dripping. Look back at the drain plug. There's a little drip there, but that I think is from when I just tightened it down. See nothing else growing there, so I think we're okay. Alright, looks like we sealed it up. And then the final thing we have to do for this project is resetting that pesky warning that tells you you need an oil change and you have to see your dealer. Alright, we're inside the van right now. We're going to reset that warning. So what you do is you turn your ignition to on, and then down here at the pedal you depress the accelerator pedal to the ground 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And that will reset the light, so you'll no longer get that warning every time you start the vehicle up. So that's it on changing oil in the 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan. The only thing that I have yet to mention is how you dispose of the oil you took out of the van. You'll have 5 quarts of dirty oil to get rid of. Any solid waste transfer station or dump or landfill or wherever your garbage goes, they typically have a place for receiving used oil, and also the filters that are also full of junk. Any sort of household hazardous waste pickup would also probably take something like that. So make sure you dispose of your oil and filter properly. And that's it for this job. It should give you everything you need to do the job. I hope it inspires you to change the oil in your van and see, now that you've seen how easy it is to do. So that's it, and thanks for watching.